Hello all. So in continuation to our series with the BCCRM integration, we'll talk about something called as AL Table Proxy Generator. Because without this, we'll not be able to move further into our conversation as we discussed into the last video. Now you might ask, what the heck it is this? What is this proxy generator? What is a proxy? Where do you see this and all that? So let me explain you in summary what a proxy generator is. So if you remember while we were talking about BC CRM integration, we said yes, there are tables in CRM, there are tables in BC, and to achieve this integration, there are some virtual tables are created in Business Central. And just to kind of, if you're new to this video, just to explain you, when you go into base application and you search for table names that start with CRM, see CRM, I can be wrong sometime, or most of the time, you'll see a lot of tables are available there. But these tables are not your actual tables. So like, let me pick the account table. These tables have some specific properties like table type as CRM, external name as account, and then the field have some weird properties that you don't typically set in a Business Central environment or in a Business Central AL code that you're building a table or a field. So how these tables are created? Does somebody sitting idle and creating these tables and knowing about all these properties and these values? And that's where our friend called AL Table Proxy Generator comes into the picture. Now, if you have done CRM integrations in past and you didn't knew about it, that'll be a great help for you. If you knew about it, you can run through and look for the other video in this series, but we'll go through on this topic today. Here's the Microsoft Help portal about it. I'll add the link into the first pinned comment to this, and we'll go through this exercise today. The AL Table Proxy Generator. This tool can be used to generate one or more table for integrations with Microsoft Dataverse and with CRM in general. So utilizing this tool, when one or more table are present in Dataverse, which is CRM or Dataverse, but not in Business Central, the tool can be run to generate integration of proxy table for a specified table or tables. So what this tool will do? For a CRM entity that you have in CRM, it'll create these CRM type tables, which are proxy tables inside your Business Central environment. So you don't have to write all this code manually as a user, as a developer. An integration or a proxy table is a table that represents a table in Microsoft Dataverse. So it's just a virtual representation of the table in Dataverse. The integration table include fields that correspond to the column in the Microsoft Dataverse table, and it acts as a link to connector between Business Central and Dataverse table. Now, without this table, the integration will not work. So anytime you have to do any integration, which we'll be doing going forward with the new entities and custom entities, we'll have to keep this in mind, that we'll have to add those fields or those tables as a virtual table. Note, Microsoft Dataverse and Business Central store data in different format. In Business Central, all users see the same data across all time zone, whereas Dataverse database app renders based on current user time zone. The AL proxy generator tool does not support the time zone for dates and convert dates from Dataverse to the Business Central format. How you run this? To run this, the tool is available in your AL language extension. Look for this tool in the folder where your user is. Inside that, go into the bin folder. So let me go to my users folder and I'll open that in my screen and .vs code. Okay, let me go there so that I don't share any info. Okay, where is view? Let me remove this. Okay, here I am. So this is my VS Code folder. Okay. Now in my VS Code folder, which is I'm here, I need to go to the extensions, and here just another tidbit, all your extensions that you are using in your VS Code are also listed here, okay, including the AL language extension. So I'm using so many extensions, as you can see. What I need to pick from here is the AL extension version. What extension version I'm looking for is the Microsoft extension, and let me search for that. That normally should come with the name, okay, that should come with the name of MS Dynamics something. Yes. So MS Dynamics 12.0 is what my current version is. You can have a different version, a higher version or a lower version, but that's okay. That's your call. That's your version that you have. So make sure that you choose the version, the folder, which is, where is that folder? Here. Okay, come on. Yes, MS Dynamics SMBAL. And the version can differ based on your this version, the, where is that, AL language version. So whatever the version that you have, the same version that you will be, it will be available on your folder. Okay, so this is this version. So now if you look at it here, the version is, where is the version? Here's the identifier, Microsoft Dynamics SMBAL. That's what I'm going to. And the last release version, last updated version, updated date. Somewhere there will be a version, and I'll match to my version that I have. 12.0, that's what I'm using. So you can see I'm on 12.0, 89 something. So I can see it here somewhere. So once you find that path in your username VS Code extension, open that folder and you will find some folders there. So what I'll do is I'll change that to large icon so that we all can see it. Now let's go back to that article and continue reading that. Okay. So in the bin folder, inside this, you will find an exe. It says called altpgen.exe. So let's search for that. altpgen.exe. Here it is. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this. Now how you use it? It says you can use PowerShell as an administrator and then do this. So let's open PowerShell. And I'm using PowerShell ISE. If you're using normal PowerShell, that's also okay. That's not a problem. So the first thing that I need to do is navigate to this folder. So what I'll do is I'll copy this path and do a change directory to this particular path. I'm here now. My prompt says so. Okay, now what else I have to do? I have to write a command in this format, which is my this. Okay, let me copy that. And then these are some parameters that I need to pass. And we'll see what those parameters are in a while. The table or tables are generated in the folder specified in the AL project, of the AL project. Okay, let's read that. The first parameter is project. The path that you need to define is the AL project folder to create tables in. Okay, so if I have to create a table in this particular project, I need to give the path where this folder is. So what I'll do is I'll say reveal in file explorer. I'll get into that and I'll give this path. Okay. So let's go back to my this thing, and here I'll define my project, and this is how you do it, and you define your path. So that's done. Okay. Now the next is the cache path, where you are storing your symbols, AL packet symbols. So I'll copy this and I'll again use a colon and paste the path there. So that gives me my cache path. The next is your service URI. Now this is the URI that you are asking this to connect to your CRM. So what we'll do, we'll go back to my CRM, go back to my root path and pick the address from here. Okay. Once I do that, I'll just paste that in here. Okay. Okay. Now, what entities I want? Let's say I want a table, and I have no clue what these tables are. So what I'll do is I'll go to my Dataverse. Okay, where is my power? Where is my power app portal? Let me see, and let me go in there. Once I get into this, I'll be able to see the tables. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll choose my environment, which is CRM in this case. Once I choose my environment, I can get into my tables and I'll see all my tables. Okay. Okay, here are all my tables. Now let's pick a random table. We're not going to do this. I'm just trying to show you what it can do. Okay. So let's pick a random table. Let's pick the attribute table, which is not yet being utilized in the CRM connector. The name that you need to give is not this name. You have to pick this name. So if I want the attribute table to be a part of my sync in future, the first thing that I need to do is make a virtual table of it, or the proxy table for this. Now, if I do this, I'll just copy this, but I'll have to keep in mind that my attribute table, okay, not this, all, that my attribute table, where is my attribute table? Okay, attribute table is named as this. Like you see this table, but the actual name is this MSDYN attribute. Okay, so if I have to create this table, I need to use this name, not this name, which is all caps off. So I'll use this name in my PowerShell, and I can list down my entities as attributes. Attribute. That's the name. Also, attribute, and then the base ID. So let's open the help desk, help article from Microsoft and read that. Cache, we have understood that where the symbols are present. Service URI is your URL. Entities is the entities. If you have to do multiple, you can do the comma separated value. Okay. Base ID, the assigned starting ID of the generated new table. So from what number I want to start my Navision table. So I would like to start it, let's say, with 60,000. Yeah, 60,000. And then the last is my table type property. Now this table type have two options. If I can show it to you, I cannot. Let me show it to you here. Okay, .exe, and okay. The two options that are available here that you can read in the help documentation are CDS and CRM. Okay, if unspecified, the system will look for both CDS and CRM table, the type of table that is created in AL. So for that, the best references, go back into your AL and see how these CRM tables are created. So if I search for that and open any of these tables, I'll see that the table type is used as CRM. I'll just go with the flow as it is saying and define that as this. So I have defined most of my properties, if I'm not wrong. And if everything is wrong, correct. I should get an authorization here where I authenticate to my CRM environment, and that'll allow me to connect to that and download the schema, and that schema will then be available somewhere here. So we'll see that. Okay. This is connected to source control. So if there are any changes, I'll see that there are some changes that have been done. Hopefully this runs. Let's have a run of this. Okay. So it's running, it's trying to authenticate Dataverse, and now it is asking me to authenticate against my environment. And it says that I don't have any scope defined. Okay. Let me try doing this on a direct command prompt. I don't think that there should be a problem. I'll just paste these parameter in line. I hope you now remember these parameters or not, so you can go back and read them. and I'll just add these tables as it is. Okay, let me directly try to run it here. I don't think scope should be a problem, but let's see. Okay, it is trying to authenticate me, and now I see my authentication. Okay, once I choose the environment that I'm in, I might have my username incorrect. Let me see what my username is. Okay, this is 6069. I'll have to define that. Just give me a moment and I'll do that when I'm getting my password. So what I'll do is I'll pause the video and I'll get that. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to key in my username that I have, hit the next button, then I'll ask for my password, which I'm going for my authenticator app. And if everything is correct, it'll ask me for the permission to read my Dataverse database, view the user information, does he have the permission or not, and does it has given access to that data or not. If everything is correct and I accept it, what this command will do is it'll go back into my CRM, read the schema of that table or that entity that I have mentioned in there, and will retrieve the metadata of that entity and create a table. So now if you see the written output, one file has been written and everything is successful. Now if I go back to my VS Code, I should see a new table here called attribute, and you see that with one change here, which is for this table. We'll come to this in a while, but let's come back here. Let's see these parameters again. The first one is you navigate to that path where your exe is, then you give that exe. The parameters that you need to give is the project, where is your AL project is placed. The second parameter is your app cache, where your symbols are. Then the next one is your CRM URL. The next is the entities that you need. It can be one or multiple. If there are multiple, you can just add the comma. The starting base ID, and then the table type that you want to create. Okay. Now let's get back to our BC and see what actually happened when we did that. What it did, it created a table 60,001 with the name CDS attribute, and it says incorrect name because I have some app source cop available. It says the external name is attribute, the table type is CRM, and then it added some properties which I manually would not have been able to do ever. And it brought all these tables here or fields here. Now once I publish this app, this virtual table will be available in my environment, in my BC environment, and I'll be able to see the proxy data, or the data in CRM or Dataverse using this proxy entity that's available by creating the ALTP using the ALTP gen exe. Now there are some things to remember. Let's go through that. There might be some errors while you're running this command. One or two errors. Your files will be generated, but there might be one or two errors, and those error happens because there are also table relationship in CRM. So if there is a field which is related to a separate entity which is referred in the table, and if you are not downloading that schema of that particular related entity, it might give you an error, and that's okay. It is not needed for the virtual proxy table that's being created, so don't worry about it. And if you want, you can also bring all those related tables also if required. That's just based on your requirement. And this is for the new table. We'll come to this when we cover that. So hopefully you now, whenever you do the CRM integration in future, you will not rely to the manually creation of these tables, because that's a nightmare. I hope everybody understands that at this point. So for creating these proxy tables, what you need to do, you need to navigate to your C users, the path where all your AL extensions are available, and that path is actually C users, your username, .vs code, extensions, the version of your AL extension, and the bin folder. Inside that, you'll find a ALTP Gen EXE, which requires you to fill in 6 parameters. The first one is project, which is your AL project where you want to create tables in. The second is your project cache path, where your symbols are for Business Central. We'll understand in future why these symbols are required. The service URI is the next parameter where you define what CRM environment you are connecting to. The entities is the next parameter where you define which tables you want to bring as the proxy tables. And the second last is base ID, where you define what is your starting ID of the table that you want to create that table in Business Central extension. The last one is table type that can have two options, CRM and CDS. We use CRM because we wanted to integrate to CRM. If you want to use to CDS, you can use CDS. I don't think behind the scene there is any difference between using CRM or CDS. At the end of the day, it's all data-verse tables. But if you have multiple data-verse environment, it might get confused which entity to pick if the entity exists in both. Okay. You might get some error while doing that just because of the table relationship between entities in CRM, but you don't have to worry about it. So remember this, and if you have any questions, let me know into comments because your comments help us to make new content. If you like the content, hit the like button. If you think that people will learn something new and will save some time by utilizing the ALTP Gen EXE while doing their BC to CRM integration, hit that share button and share the knowledge with all your colleagues and other Business Central folks. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I'll highly request you to please do that because that helps us to understand how we are doing. Are you getting what you are coming in this channel for? And you get notified whenever a new video is posted, even if I don't share it on social media. So it's a win-win for both, I guess. So please hit that subscribe button if you haven't. And I'll see you in the next video sooner than later. Thank you. Have a nice day.